And we are the Hobnobbers podcast.
Yes, we decided on a name.
Finally.
Yeah, it took more work than we thought. Oh, this is
the cat butt walking away
is Dusty Rose, aka Dust Bust, and she'll be wandering around, I'm sure.
I'm living my life in fear with her behind me.
She has no teeth. It's not a big deal. But we I have no idea how long it's been because we recorded 2 weeks ago. But we might be releasing things pretty quickly.
Right, so we're not quite sure what time frame these are going to hit the YouTube.
Exactly. It took me a while to learn to edit the first one.
And it took me a while to learn how to upload.
Ooh, it's been a learning process.
So, we're trying and we're here.
Yeah, and we're going quicker all the time. Who knows?
Right.
So...
We are a crafty podcast.
Yes.
We should say that part.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about crochet, knitting, cross stitch, sewing, eventually spinning, maybe some needle felting. Anything in your book? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever
I've been
try.
watching Junk Journal. Watch, don't kick the chair. Our camera is attached to a chair.
I did once.
I've been watching a lot of junk journaling videos. I don't need that rabbit hole though, but I might need that rabbit hole.
I've been watching loom weaving, like little looms, and I'm like, I want one. I'm trying to tell myself I should buy one and support an artist instead of become the artist because I don't need another hobby.
My plan is, so they say like you can either throw time or money at something. She throws time, I throw money. I'm just like, oh, your pottery is amazing. I'll just buy your pottery instead of learning to be a potter.
Well, I think pottery would be a big one to take on. You need a lot of equipment.
Yeah, but
anyways,
so we have updates and all kinds of fun whips and stuff. So we're gonna continue to divide this up kind of by craft, and we'll put time codes and stuff in the description.
Right.
So we're gonna start. And I'm going to try and be really, really good about putting pictures in. So I'm going to try and learn how to put pictures in of our project. So we're going to start with yarn crafts. So knit and crochet crafts. And we'll start with some whips and whip updates from last time. So why don't you start? What do you feel like doing?
Well, I have 2 whips that I'm currently working on. I don't have any finishes right now since the last time we showed. So
we've been working on big projects.
Yes, I am currently working on my very first sweater. So I get it out of its. This is my bag from the Fat Swirl Speaks. Talked about it last time. She's awesome and her bag is awesome. So this is my sweater. It is called the Flax sweater by Tincan Knits, and on our last episode, where's my little apple? See this apple stitch marker? I can't show it. There we go. So that was where I was last time we showed. So I knit all the way down to the body. The body is now finished.
She got her ribbed bottom of her sweater.
And then I started one sleeve. So this is my first time doing a sweater, so learning all kinds of things about garment knitting, like how to attach sleeves, picking up the stitches and stuff. I have a stitch marker here to kind of show. I'm trying to find it. So when I pick up the sleeves, it was here, and so since last time we podcast, I knit all that on the bottom and all of this up here.
She's insane.
And the sleeve's not too bad. It's tapering now, so I'm going to get to a point where it's going a lot quicker because it's fewer stitches on the needle. It was easy enough to pick up the stitches. The only thing is, of course, when you pick up stitches, is you do have, there are little gaps at the armpit, but I followed a couple tutorials, and I'll have to link them because I don't remember what ones I did, to kind of cover that up as we go. Some people like weave that in at the end. I tried to fix it as I went, and I think it worked pretty well. Trying to get my hand in the sweater. It's a little so you can kind of see
Oh,
like
no,
there's definitely a little bump there. But
still.
I mean, nobody's gonna. Who's
Yeah.
looking at my armpit?
Hopefully only people you want to be.
So this is my sweater. I'm having a lot of fun with my first sweater. I love top down because I've tried it on several times as I go.
It looks great too.
It does look great. It's going to be
the color's
so
picking
comfy.
up way better this time. Maybe it's because of all the light behind us.
Right.
But that heathery
Very soft green
with the modeling of the yellow and the black. Ooh, I love it.
Yes. And it's fairly soft. It's definitely a woolier feel. This is I should talk about the yarn. It is Brooklyn Tweed's Shelter base, which is the worsted weight. And I'm a big lady, so I needed like 9 million skeins. I think 13 total. But I am down to the last 3, and I think I'm going to make it with my sleeves.
Yeah. That sounds like it worked out perfectly almost.
Yeah, so it's worked out really well. And like I said, I've loved trying this on as I go because I've been able to see it.
We were in a parking lot talking to some friends not too long ago, and she's like,
Let me try this on and show you my sweater.
And there's like needles hanging off the bottom.
Thread hanging everywhere. Great. So
we have to meet in parking lots so we can social distance.
It's a little awkward, but it works. So yeah, it's been going really well with the sweater.
2 weeks progress. Like you banged out a lot.
Yeah, I definitely worked. I worked really hard on it on the first week, and then this past week I did not work as much on the sweater. Kind of picked up a few other things to work on, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of learning with sweater knitting, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I already have plans for like 4 more.
It's like me and blankets.
But I think I might do a tank top next. A knitted tank top, something summery.
So that you don't have to mess with sleeves?
I need a break from sleeves now. The sleeves have not actually been that bad.
Yeah, I know you were a little worried.
I was worried because everybody talks about like the terror of sleeves and knitting, and
And doing it twice.
And well, the doing it twice thing does concern me because I've never knit a pair of anything like socks or mittens or anything, so doing
I thought it was a rite
thing,
of passage for knitters to make socks.
Well, it might be, but it's just not
you
for
just
me.
Passed that right by.
I just yeah. I need a stocking. It's close enough.
That's close enough. Yeah.
But so that is my knit whip. I then have a crochet whip.
Yeah, let's go to crochet.
So my crochet whip is, I'm working on a wall hanging that I'm trying to use up leftover yarn to make this. So I found a pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Daisy Square Travel Blanket.
And I will try my best to put a photo right here of
Yes.
what the pattern is going to look like.
Yes.
The blanket would look like.
I'm not making the blanket. I'm making a little wall hanging out of this, and I'm actually going to use this nice copper rod that Lauren was able to get from her dad. It's like 16 inches long. I don't know the diameter, but
It's like 1/3 inch maybe.
3/4 inch maybe.
It'll look great.
I'm going to hang the crochet squares off of that. And so here are my crochet squares. And I have pink ones and little blue.
I love those colors.
They're so bright.
And so summery and just like
They're going
joyful.
to brighten up my wall for sure. And one of the things I'm going to use the wall hanging for, and I have a few that I haven't woven in the ends on, so they're a little stringy, is I actually have a collection of pins, like little enamel pins or buttons, and I'm going to try to hang those on this wall hanging so it's
a way to display your collection.
a good way to display it. Because right now they're on a bag, but I'm afraid to use the bag that they're on because I'm afraid they're going to fall off because I've had that happen with a few of them.
Yeah, there's definitely some that
I don't want to lose any. This is purple. It's showing up a little pink, but maybe if I hold it beside the pink. Nope, that did not help much.
It helped a little bit.
But this is like hot pink, and this is a purple.
Yeah.
But I think So I'm going to hang them up like, sort of like this off of the rod. And I'll do a couple staggering down with different color variations.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and I have, so to show you my whole stack of little squares, I have been busy.
How many more do you need?
I'm just using up the yarn.
Oh, okay, so when the yarn runs out, then we'll know how big the wall hanging will be.
I was playing with color variations. What I've got to do next is sort of pick out what the color coordination should be. So I have like, I just stuck it in here. I have a daisy finished and I don't know what the color border should be because I don't know what I need next. So I'm going to play with a couple variations,
yeah, so you can figure out your
patterns to kind of pick the next.
Well, you've inspired me. On the last podcast we did, I showed off an earring hanger. It's a crochet doily that I put in an embroidery hoop as an earring hanger. And you talking about your pins, the other day I was looking for something and I was digging through some of my mom's stuff. My mom passed away several years ago. And there was a box of all these lapel pins that my grandmother wore. Because back in the day, if you had any kind of job, she worked in the school system, you had to wear like a blazer and a skirt and stockings and like the whole 9 yards. So she had all these decorative lapel pins she would wear. When she passed, those went to my mom, who wore a couple of them, but continued to collect them. So we have this box full of these. Some of them are really pretty. Some of them are like, maybe I'll get some for next time. I'll show them off. Some of them are like carved wood. Some of them are hand painted. Some of them are like little embroidered ones. And then some are like Dollar Tree ones that you know that some of the kids in the classroom probably,
right?
You know, they're like little plastic things. But they're very cute and I remember them specifically on, like, I remember my grandma had a lavender, like, basically power suit. It was like the lavender blazer, the lavender skirt. She wore white tights with it and like a navy blue blouse underneath it. And I remember that so clearly.
Power suit. I'm
trying to think of the it's so 80s, big shoulder pads, the whole. And but I remember she had this like bouquet of flowers lapel pin that she'd wear. So I it's like we have them all. They're beautiful and they're just in a box. And so if we could display them, that would be really cool. So I'm gonna do a lacework thing that we can put them all on. So that'll be really nice and a nice way to remember that.
That sounds exciting. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. So I've got to get caught up on the okay, so let me go to my whip, the blanket, the giant blanket. This is also crochet. I showed it last time. I'm doing a temperature blanket for 2020. And it is migrated to a bigger bag, but there's not a bigger enough bag. So it's got to migrate. I just need to go find a duffel bag. It has grown about 20 rows. I think since the last time I showed it. I'm not gonna, there's a picture on my Instagram of it laid out. It takes up my entire dining room table now, like a 6-seater dining room table covered. So I'm not gonna, like, me holding it up so you can see the entirety of the blanket is so.
I think we can just hold up a bit of it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold up the top here so you can kind of see,
here,
the last time you saw it, or anybody saw it, I think I was right here in this bright orange. So I have done all the way up to the top there. I've got these mountain stitches, which I really like, and these brand new bobble stitches, which are nice and they're very juicy bobbles. Mm-hmm. The original pattern, this is a pattern by Not Your Average Crochet, and it's the As We Go Stripey Blanket, which I think she originally released as a stitch along, like she'd release a chunk of it and then the next and then the next. I've now completed the blanket as written. I'm now repeating it a second time, and I'm sure a third time I will be repeating this blanket.
To get through the whole year.
But her bobbles were not bobbly enough for me. They almost didn't bobble at all. And I want some juice on my bobbles. So I upped that to get a better bobble.
Yeah.
But it's been really
nice.
It's been a really fun blanket, and because it always keeps you like thinking about what's coming next. You're always But now I had all these beautiful ends woven in last time. Now I've got more.
Now we need an evening.
We need an evening for me to sit and deal with this nonsense. Because every row is a color change. I've got ends and ends and ends for days.
It's very nice. Did you say where you got the yarn from?
This yarn is Cascade 220 Sport, which you can kind of find pretty handily. But I got mine at Love Crafts, and it was. I have gotten a couple things from there now, and for a, bulk yarn and craft supply store, their stuff ships quickly. It ships in these really nice organza bags that I reuse, and I keep
Project
everything
bags.
organized in. It is just like everything comes like neat and organized, and I love it. So I've enjoyed that. And I spun up more yarn last night. I got a Swift not too long ago, and I was just spinning up yarn in the middle of the night. 1 a.m. I'm spinning up yarn because I'm like,
she actually had to buy the Swift for this project primarily
because it's so much yarn.
Right. In the past, I think you and Sarah just hand wound.
We just hand.
I mean, she has the ball winder, but they would just use the Swift, or they didn't have the Swift, so I think Sarah's arms.
Yeah, she just or mine because the motion of going like this, like you got to be in time to do that, and that's difficult.
Yes.
And then
I wouldn't be able to keep the beat.
or I would buy yarn that was pulled from the middle, and that's not as hard,
Right.
But this is, but when I get really nice yarn, I would take it to other people to skein, to ball up. But I wouldn't have that. Like this, I'm balling up every week. Like I am going through. Yeah. I have oh man.
That's how I felt with my sweater though. I mean, I said it took 13 skeins and I'm down to 3. So I did take it easy on myself. I balled 2 at a time instead of all
at once.
And so now I'm down to the last ball. So I think this weekend I'm going to be winding the last couple skeins.
I think I have ordered so far 30 skeins. Oh my god. And that's not enough, guys.
More yarn is needed. But it's going to look great.
It's going to look great, and I know where I want to put it, and it's going to look
And
awesome.
It's also going to be a great memory. Like you will know what those stripes mean.
I mean, do we really need to remember 2020 though? I feel like maybe we can just pass
now
it.
you have your heirloom 2020 blanket.
When like generations, 2 or 3 generations from now, and they're asking me, Grandma, tell me about 2020. And I'm like, oh, my child.
So, that's all I have for whips.
Is that all we have for yarn? Cool.
That's all. I do have a sewing whip. So
okay, so let's do sewing. Let's do sewing.
So.
And you have a sewing finish.
I do have a sewing finish. Hang on, let me dig in my bag.
Sorry for crinkles.
Also, sorry for thunder. That was pretty loud.
Yeah. It was so loud it woke the cat up.
So, I'm working on sewing just a simple zipper bag. And I'm new to sewing. I got a sewing machine in November of last year. And I started using it in January of this year. So far, I've made drawstring bags successfully. And now 1 tote bag successfully.
Yes.
I have made a zipper pouch previously, and I mean, I'm gonna call it a success, but it's not something anyone would be proud of.
I mean, yes, people would be proud to make that because I just buy mine, and she makes them, and that's amazing.
It was definitely awkward. It has like a weird corner, and I bungled it up a little bit, but it works. The zipper opens, and you can store stuff in it.
And nothing falls out.
I know where the mistakes are. I don't know that other people would.
Exactly.
So this is a sewing whip, which I think is kind of awkward to show, but here it is. This is a piecing of my bag.
Turn it over because that's turquoise.
Yes, so this is going to be the lining. And I just got this. This is a gray zipper that is from Surplus City, is that a franchise?
I do not believe
what
so.
they
I feel like I've
do
heard
is
that,
they
though.
get materials that are like overstock or sometimes even just upcycled. Like
Yeah.
these zippers were clearly ripped out of something.
Oh yeah, like the number of lavender zippers that must have been ripped out of like couch cushions or so. Like I was like, where did these come from? But they had a wall of them.
Yes.
That were just, and you're like, okay, so I can buy hundreds of zippers.
I think this was 75 cents.
Yeah, for nothing. And then like 2 feet over, you could find like a pallet stack of like, I didn't see it this time, but you'll find like a pallet stack of like 2 foot by 2 foot outdoor fabric squares.
Right.
And you're like, oh, there's the other half of the cushion. Like, and so they do a lot of industrial supplies. There's just a weird little store around here, and I love them.
I
just
like going
bins
there.
of bins of buttons that you can go through, and
they have like weird fabric. I mean, if you don't get enough for your project, you're never gonna find this fabric again.
Yeah,
some of it is definitely like from the 70s.
Yeah, there's some old stuff. There's some like,
but
stuff
that's what makes
it
exciting.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but they also have like modern fabrics. And then home decor, and then industrial supplies, and tools, and
if you need anything for Christmas, they have it year round.
Yeah, exactly.
For some reason,
because when they can't sell it at the end of Christmas of 2013, it's still in Surplus City. It's great.
Still there.
It's the best.
But anyway, I bought this zipper from there, and it is a metal zipper, which my other sewing experience was with a nylon zipper, which a nylon zipper, I mean, as long as you avoid the head, you can sew right over that sucker. With the metal one, you can't sew over this or you're going to deal with broken needles. So I did have to do, I'll show you this, a little, you might be able to see my little thread right here where I had to baste it kind of together to keep, because this was splitting like this far apart.
Yeah, it's hard to line your fabric up.
So I was having a hard time lining my fabric up. So anyway, the reason that this is a whip is because I sewed this side on like 3 times, ripped it out, sewed it back on, ripped it out, and like every time my fabric seems to move right in this area here, so I was really struggling. This side was fine, this side I have shifting, so I'm going to rip out this seam, repiece it, hand baste it in, and then try sewing it on with the machine.
Just like, you can't be trusted.
Because it just keeps sliding, and like on this side, my fabric's lining up nice and neatly, but on this side, you can see quite obviously they're not lined up. So I'm struggling with the side that I need to pick out, and it's a whip because I did this last week and I said, oh, I need to rip that out, and it's not all week because I was mad at it.
It makes you angry. It does.
I have to walk away. That's what brings me mental peace.
Just put it in a corner. Don't do
I like to try all the things, but when they frustrate me, sometimes I'm just like, okay, walking away now.
Screw you.
Yeah.
All right, so you have a finish too?
Yes, I have a sewing finish. This is my only finish for the past 2 weeks.
This was so cute.
I showed this on the last podcast as a little box kit that I bought from Joann's. I don't know if they still have them, but it's just called like the Flamingo Tote, and it's by Happy Handmade. So this is my little tote bag that I made, and it's looking crooked, but it's just because it's not poofed out. I've done no ironing to like...
But that is a super cute project bag. And does it?
It does not zip.
It does not zip. Okay.
There is no closure at the top. There were optional pieces you could get to do a snap, and I think I am going to go and try to figure out snappage later.
Yeah.
Maybe Velcro. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it open.
That's very cute, though.
I like to live it wild. So the straps are attached just by sewing across here twice, and then you just tie a knot in the strap. I see
a Millie dog out the window.
Millie's just like parading around in the back. So it does have pockets and has this cute lining fabric.
That fabric is pretty.
I'll show you.
Pretty pink.
I'll show you the pockets. My pockets still have the fabric pen on them because I haven't washed it, but there's 3 pockets.
That's actually a really nice little project bag.
There's one. And the pockets do have a different interior fabric, so they are bright pink. And I'm thinking I'm going to make this a gift. I have a friend who loves flamingos. I mean, Lizzie's porch. Oh my gosh. She has a flamingo flag. She has flamingos in her yard. She loves flamingos, so.
For a goth, she's quite peppy. So what did you think of the kit? Was it easy to follow? And
my gosh, the kit was so easy. So what you get is a fabric panel. It's just a big thing, and you cut out your shape. Now, I think before you cut it out, you do have to check to see if it's warped in any way. Mine was not. There were instructions of like how to tell if it's warped, because it can happen when they print those fabric panels. So mine was not warped, and I didn't have any problem there. And it's canvas cotton. I didn't say what the material is, but it is a canvas cotton. Nice. So it's a nice thicker. It's not quilter's cotton.
Yeah, it's a sturdy little fabric.
So anyway, you just cut out all the pieces, and they have it so that it's one big rectangle, and you cut out along the line all your pieces, and then it has step-by-step instructions of how to piece things together. I did the box corners differently, and that's just because I've watched, since I do sew drawstring bags, I've watched different videos, and so again, I think this is one that doesn't tell you to cut off when you do your box corner, to cut off that extra fabric, but I have found if you leave that on there, it just creates a little bit extra bulk, and I don't like that, so I cut off and left like a probably a 1/2 inch seam.
It looks really great.
Yeah, and it's holding its shape well, and I got a little lazy, not gonna lie. So when I was sewing this strap, and you probably won't even be able to see it, but that's why I left it there, I got a little like weebly wobbly with my stitch line here.
It's like, I can't be bothered, this thing's long.
I was doing so great, and then all of a sudden I just went, I don't know. And I just left it there because,
who cares?
You know, it's a gift for a friend, and I kind of think she loves me, so she's going to love this. She's not going to care that I had a little whoop-de-doop on the strap. Yeah. Also, even with that little like swoop there, I mean, I looked at some of my store fabricated bags, and they have weird seams, weird sewing. So I mean,
shit where they just sewed it and then like, oh crap, that's wrong, sew it again. Don't bother taking anything out.
I am just kind of like one of those people who sometimes I make mistakes, and you have to ask yourself, is it worth it to go back and fix it? For the strap, no, because it's not going to affect the function of the bag.
No, not at all.
For my zipper pouch, it is going to affect the function of the bag because it's going to be a little crooked, and the lining isn't going to quite line up.
Yeah, you're making more work for yourself trying to fix that than just picking it out and doing it again.
Right. So I make those choices.
Sewing
I deal
troubleshooting.
with difficult. But this is my finish, and she's going to love it.
Yes, that is very cool.
Also, I'm pretty sure she's not going to watch this, so.
Maybe we'll, like, tell her after you give it to her.
Yeah.
We have a podcast now.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So.
Can you hear the snoring cat?
There are little grunts.
Why is she snoring so good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Then I think cross stitch.
Oh, I do have cross stitch.
So this is the start of cross stitch, aka floss tube. And so we both have a
we
whip.
have the same whip.
The same whip. Let me grab it here. So. It's in my mail bag. And I have it in the hoop because I was just working on it.
Mine was in a plastic. Oh, yours is so damn cute. Oh.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
So I am doing Be Well.
Me too.
And so we're doing this one together.
My little bee.
This is by the Blackberry Rabbit. It was a free freebie pattern on her website for Be Well and Stitch. And I'm just doing mine on, this is 14 count. I think this is just Charles Craft Oatmeal Ada, the kind you get at Walmart. I just had this little piece left and it was the perfect size. And I made some I started this week. And then
you made a lot of progress.
I got the bee done night one. I got the little bee done. Went and was kitting up the next section of my horrific Halloween banner and realized I had stolen some colors that I needed for the bee. So I was like, crap, well, we gotta get the bee done so I can get those colors back. I could just be like, oh, I'll get to that color later. No, it has to be, it gives me incentive to finish this. Or to like work on this more because I really enjoyed working on it. So it is turning out really, really nice. It is a very cute little pattern. The flower wreath goes all the way around and then it's going to say Be Well at the top. And I got my little, I'll talk about it when we're going to do haul in a bit, but I got my cute little needle minder. This is from Lovely Stitches on Etsy, aka I think she's Lovely Stitches as well on Instagram, but it's Lindy. She's an awesome floss tuber, and I bought a needle minder grab bag from her, and I loved every single thing in it because they're amazing.
She gave me one of the needle minders from the grab bag.
Because it was a bright pink unicorn, and I mean if that's not Devynn.
I stored it away. Maybe I'll find it here in a minute.
We'll get it out for haul.
I'll probably show it. I'll show it later sometime. So my fabric is from the Four Seasons Stitchery, and let me hold the bee upright. I think my little bee is so tiny. I just started this last night, and as you may have known from the previous podcast, that I am barely a cross stitcher, so I don't know what I'm doing.
We're learning. Today we learned how to organize floss.
Yes, I learned how to organize my floss. I'm going to say this now on the podcast because I didn't tell you this earlier. I think I'm going to pick this out.
Oh no, why?
I am, because it's right smack in the middle of this giant piece of fabric, and I feel like it's going to waste the fabric to just be right
all
there.
That, yeah.
Right in the middle.
That,
so I think
that makes me sad, but if you're going to pick it out, now's the time.
Right. I mean, I only have like, there's not even 20 stitches on here probably. Yeah. So it's not gonna hurt it, and there's like no chance of running out of thread on this guy.
No.
So
I don't think you're.
I just want to be able to do other things, and this is such a giant piece,
and it's a pretty fabric. Like this is like hand dyed.
It is hand dyed. I have no idea who dyed it. I got no information off the tag. I don't think they have it.
The Four Seasons puts their stuff in
plastic
Ziploc bags.
Plastic zippy bags.
And it may say, on the front, it'll say like 28 count
it says
linen.
14 count Ada, that's all I know.
And like the price per yard. Yeah, maybe the color and the price per yard. No information about brand, dye,
nothing.
Anything. So you just take what you get. Which is very weird. I did see one bag labeled Picture This Plus. So maybe they're dyeing their own? That doesn't seem right.
I have no idea. I didn't ask, but
they have a whole wall of it.
They do have a wall of nice Ada, and I hope that if I enjoy cross stitch, that I will go back and get more. Mm-hmm. I already do buy fabric from them for projects that I sew, so I enjoy their store a lot, and I bought all my thread there too.
Yeah, it's a nice little needlework and quilting store.
It is cute.
We are in a bit, the one thing we don't really have around here is a good yarn store. But
I like how you described it as a yarn desert.
Yeah, we are in a yarn desert. It's a sad place.
It is a little sad that we just don't have more. So, yeah.
Okay,
ready to talk about your whips?
More whips? Do you have anything else?
No, that is literally everything I have.
Okay, so I have So I have some whips and then some whip news. So let me move this out of the way here. We'll get to that in a second. So I have last time I think I showed this. I'm gonna do again. We'll try and put pictures in. I am working on Barbara Anna's Light. It's a very cute pattern of a fox with a lantern and vines and stuff. Barbara Anna's, her vine motifs, I don't know what it is. I love those suckers. But I've made some pretty great progress. So this is what it looked like last time. Maybe we can try that. That's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And this is what it's looking like now. So let me see if I can hold that up so it can be seen. So
Yeah.
I made real progress on...
I think last time we just had the collar done.
I just had the collar and like a wee little bit of dress. So now her... trying to find out. Oh man, holding this stuff up is harder than they make it look in other floss suits. There we go. So I got her face,
Yeah, she looks
one
great.
color of her face done, and I'm finally down. It was the way I kind of made myself work on it was do one thread. This is on 32 count linen, and I'm doing 1/1 or 1/2. And so I would have to do one thread of dress, and then I could do other things to get through this bulk of this gray purple dress, because it was just back and forth. But I'm finally down to, she's got like snowflakes on the bottom of her dress, and I'm finally down to that point, so that'll break it up. And I got her little face and nose, and it is gonna be very cute.
Can I see it before you put it away?
Yeah.
I want to see it. Let's see. Look at those tiny X's.
Yeah, this one's pretty tiny.
This one's very tiny. I don't know how I feel about that tiny. I'll have to get there.
When I first got started on this linen was a pain in the ass. It's old secret linen from my drawer. Who knows where it came from? But it is a little wavy, a little it's got little tufts and stuff in it. And getting started with it was hard on my eyes. But now that I have some landmarks and getting stitches in, kind of like, it makes enough that you can start to see the lines. It's much easier. I'm making much faster progress on it than I was before. But it didn't get, I think it only got maybe 2 or 3 days of work on that one. Maybe 2. Not as much as I would have liked.
It's looking great.
It is looking great. It's really coming along. So then, oh my stuff is just, I thought I could reach it, but I can't. Because my arms are short.
Tiny arms.
I know, I have tiny T-Rex arms. So then this one, I started. So this is a new start since our last podcast. This is another Barbara Anna design. This is her Halloween stitch along.
Where did you get that fabric?
From my drawer.
Oh.
This is her Halloween
is
stitch
cool.
along. It's called Spellville. And I'll try and put, again, like what it's supposed to look like. And it is coming along so much. I finished the keys all done.
Cute.
And I'm starting on the vine on the left-hand side here. This vine going up and the little houses. And so this is, when people talk about, ooh, Ada has actually gotten a lot better. Feel this compared to...
What am I working on?
Right? It's actually soft. It's actually pliable. It can, you know... This was, I believe...
Mine was like stiff. This
Yeah.
has like movement.
Yeah, that's actual fabric.
So this is I know nothing about cross stitch. Is this even weave? Is that different
No.
from Ada?
Even weave is different from Ada. This is Ada.
I want
Right?
this.
It's just a different brand. It's a different type. It's a different, I don't know if it's
Okay.
a slightly different weave.
Do you know who made this?
I believe that this was originally intended as a placemat or a napkin. I got this when Plaza Crafts and Things, which was a store forever
That
ago.
doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore. They were going out of business, and I raided their cross-stitch supplies and bought literally every piece of fabric they have. This has lost its label, but it did say, like, napkin on it. And that's why it has this, like, frayed edge. But
It's so cute.
it was the perfect size to put this on. I was like, okay, I like the slightly, like, mottled everything is called oatmeal, so this is also probably oatmeal.
Everything's oatmeal.
But it's got like a peppery, a pepper of brown.
Yeah, it has like, I think you can see it there, like the texture in the color of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely
it's
very nice. I mean, wow.
The difference in like feel compared to the crunchy Aida, and that's when like people are like, no, like what you're thinking of Aida from Walmart is not all there is to the world. And so I need
to find some soft Aida.
Yeah. I've enjoyed stitching on it. It has been, it's just 14 count, so it's nice and easy to see. And I'm getting nice coverage. I'm doing 2/1, and I'm getting nice coverage.
Let's go shopping.
The other thing I had decided to do, I think I talked to you about it last week, was this was supposed to be a 3-color piece. So, the key, this like dark brown for the key, the red for the houses, and the gold for the vine and the witches. The witches were all supposed to have gold faces, and I just didn't like that. Not for any particular reason. It didn't appeal to me. And so I talked to you and I said, I think I'm going to do a color conversion, and I'm going to make, there's at least 3 so far in the two parts that she's released so far. There's at least 3 witches. I said, I'm just going to make them all different skin tones, because I saw on the Sunshine Stitchers, if you watch the Sunshine Stitchers podcast, they always open with a picture of a pillow. I think Sheila did. And it's a pretty famous thing. I think it says, I belong to the Stitch Nation, and then it's got all these little women, and they're all holding like a needle and thread, or a hoop, or a pair of scissors. And of course, they're all white women. Because cross stitch is such a traditional art, I guess. I don't know. And she did a color conversion to make them to make them diverse. And because their podcast is very diverse.
Yeah.
And I just loved that idea.
That was cool.
I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like inspired by her. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And then yesterday was Juneteenth. I'm not sure when this podcast will go out, but yesterday was Juneteenth, which is we're all learning so much about and learning about what's been going on in our crazy country. And I believe it's the Sunshine Stitchers again are doing a Representation Matters stitch along.
Oh wow.
Any chart, do whatever you want, but stitch a person of color. And they were like, skin conversions are fine. Like, do what you need to do, but stitch a person of color. So I did a conversion. So I was like, oh, I already have plans. It's perfect. I'm going to do it. So I did a little conversion of my 2 little witches there.
That is cool.
It took me a while to find threads that actually look like skin. And I found a really great one, but it was too dark. It blended in with the key too much. So it took me a little while, but I found, I think, 3 shades that look semi-natural. But they all are going to have red hair, which I think is cute. So I've got my 2 little friends.
Yeah, that is so
cute.
awesome.
Yeah, and I get to, we're in an incredibly rural area. We're in an incredibly non-diverse area. And there have been some demonstrations, not too far, but far enough that I'd have to take off work, and we're in a bit of a situation where I can't do that.
We're short-staffed a little bit.
We're short-staffed a little bit right now. But I've been trying to participate in every way that I possibly can.
Sharing
and that was
resources
just
online and
sharing
reading.
resources and donating and reading and learning and
listening.
Being incredibly angry. But that's one extra little way that you can participate, and that is it's hashtag representationmatterssal on Instagram, and also the number of designers that are coming out with really, and we'll talk about it in haul because I've grabbed a couple of donation patterns and stuff like that are coming out with really amazing things that it's like, how do I want to put this? It's not that, there's a couple that you're like, okay, you know, did something to donate, to generate donations, that's fantastic. But like, one woman did a beautiful piece. It's based on fashion sketches.
Oh, cool.
And it's a really beautiful piece. And it's like, oh my gosh, we've wanted stuff like this forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's really cool. So it's just cool that we're evolving as a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say, like, as a part of the knitting community, it's just been amazing to see all of the support that's come out of this for designers, dyers, knitters, who are part of our diverse, large community who haven't been heard before. It's so amazing to see them uplifted. And I know, like, on my Instagram, I have really started following all new people, and I'm starting to see even just like craft inspiration that like was not a part of my typical feed, and now I'm seeing like so much more. I'm like, wow, that is so cool. I want to do something like that. And even in the last podcast, I shared a shawl that, had we not been having this conversation in our community, I'm not sure I ever would have found that pattern, to be honest. I mean, the designer is a Black woman. Her name is Mara Lykall, I think, and I hope I'm saying that right. And if not, I'm very sorry. I've not heard it said out loud. I've only ever read it. So,
and that's on the Spice Market shawl?
No, that is the Wildflowers and Honey. It was the brioche shawl that I did.
That beautiful brioche shawl.
She just does such beautiful, delicate work, and it's such my style.
Yeah, that's the other great thing.
It's so lacy and feminine and beautiful, and that is the kind of stuff I want to wear and make. And it's definitely a designer that I don't think I would have found had we not been having this conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think I've said before, like when I watch FlossTube and things like that, I either want to see people that have a very similar taste to me. I'm like, ooh, I love that thing. I'm also going to get that thing. Or they're stitching stuff that I never would have dreamed. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a completely different perspective. Let me see what kind of crazy stuff you come up with. And so I really have enjoyed. And I've enjoyed this like sudden small blessings of quarantine, very small, that everybody has decided to just jump on the podcast bandwagon.
Right.
Because I get to see so many more people that have, you know, they're from Kentucky, and they're from the UK, and they're from Australia, and they're from Russia, and they're from Norway, and, you know, they're black, brown, purple, you know, gay, straight. It's amazing. Yes. And it's like, I get to kind of, I mean, secretly, in my heart of hearts, be your friend.
Right?
That's terrible, but it's true.
It's our way of being a part of a community when we live in such a, unfortunately, white dominant area where we just don't have, I mean, it's pretty much white straight people here too. Like, we just don't have a lot of diversity in our area. We're a very small rural area. And so it's great to be able to be in this diverse
and learn and
culture
learn.
Of our crafting, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's been really great.
Loving it.
It's been really great. So that was our little emotional moment. It's been
emotional moment. Check.
All right. So last whip. This I am showing. Got some major progress on. This is Horrific Halloween by Stony Creek. It is their 2018 Pattern of the Month Halloween. And the last time I showed this, it looked like this. Let's see if I can get pictures in here. If not, there's going to be a lot of me pointing to nothing.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
But I had been working on... So this is the whole thing here. Let's see if I can get...
That looks great.
And I have been working on this.
Look at that newt.
And it is complete. This section is completely done. So it says, I've newt an essence of snail. And
oh yes, I love the snail.
the snail is very cute. All the backstitching really I love, people like get really annoyed about backstitching. I don't mind it, and I think it makes everything look so good.
It makes it pop.
The newt is supposed to have a button eye, but I'm going to leave my buttons off so that I don't have to worry about like how it goes into my Q-snap and stuff until the very end.
That's pretty smart.
And then
I
he
put
has
my buttons on and...
Then he has 2 little slugs that are his friends. So I started kitting up the stuff for the next section, which is spells and ghostly screams, which has a glow-in-the-dark ghost, which is quite cool.
I was very excited about that glow-in-the-dark thread.
The glow-in-the-dark thread is so fun.
Now, isn't this white on the skull? Isn't
yeah,
it glow-in-the-dark?
the skull is also glow-in-the-dark thread. There he is.
Yeah.
And it has some fun colors and bright. This acid green, I am digging that acid green. So it's the witch's bright green, so I'm happy about that. So that has been a lot of fun, but it kind of took a backseat when I realized I stole some thread from it. But it will get started back up on as soon as I get through the blanket. My rule is that I have to do 10 rows of blanket before I'm allowed to work on cross stitch.
Rules.
And then I have a schedule of days. So like once blanket is done, I'm allowed to work on Spellville for one night, and then I work on this for one night, and then I work on the bee for one night. I'm crazy.
And this is why you're so organized, and I just have like normally a million whips. I mean, I have other whips that I showed in the last podcast that I did not work on in the last week. I didn't work on my hat at all, the color work hat. Last 2 weeks. But I've been obsessing over the sweater, and I did the sewing, and I did all kinds of stuff. But I just don't live by your rules.
You're very productive.
So picking on your rules.
My last whip is more news. So I think I talked about this a little bit in the last podcast, that my sister had a Kraken. And I have stolen him. So I'll try and put a picture here. This is a full coverage piece. The chart is made by Unconventional X Stitch on Etsy. And she charted up this pretty famous, maybe there's a picture in here. Nope. Famous picture of a giant octopus eating a ship, which hopefully is right behind me. And
I think it's called the Colossal Octopus.
The Colossal Octopus is what it's called. And she got it started.
The fabric is nice.
It's not bad. This is also not too. It's a little crunchy, but not as crunchy.
Yeah, I think that oatmeal that I bought is less crunchy than what I got from Walmart. So
this is actually a correct sized piece of fabric.
Oh my god.
And she has had a little bit done from the center.
So you can see this is her progress of where Lauren's sister left off.
Yeah.
Not much going on, but
it's a start. A start I'm probably going to pick out, to be honest with you.
You got to make it your own.
I'm going to start on the corner, I think, too. Just for...
That's your method.
That's a method for I've seen for full coverage. This will be my first real... I did a small one, like a 2-inch by 2-inch thing. But this will be my first real full coverage piece. So I'm just jumping in this pond, I guess. But I am super excited to have it. And I mean, obviously, this is not a project that is going to make rapid, crazy progress. That's going to be done in 3 months. It's going to have
tiny little updates.
It's going to have, and it's going to take like 2 years. I'm not setting myself up for like 3 months later, I'm going to have a finish. Yeah. But I want it done. It's such a cool thing. Our house is full of, maybe someday I will show some of the insane, it's not insane. We like wall art. We like putting stuff on our walls. I put stuff, if I can fill wall space, I will. Especially with cool art and fun photos and pictures and things that inspire us.
Well, when you get
this cool octopus eating a boat. I want it.
when you get your peacock framed,
Yeah, I want to get my peacock
you
frame.
can share a picture of your summer wall.
Yeah, my summer wall.
She has a wall that she dedicates to seasonal hangings, and so I know there's a summer cross stitch that's going up. That's the peacock that we showed in the last episode.
Yes.
And then she already has a finished small cross stitch, like the little Halloween cats, right?
Oh yeah, my little Halloween
That's
cat.
her Halloween wall. But every season she's like always telling me like, yeah, I put my summer wall up, yeah, my spring wall up, Easter wall's up, or what,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's seasonal. It's just whatever you want to call it.
Whenever I feel like changing it, I go. And I'm always on the lookout at like, okay, Gabe's is probably an East Coast thing. Gabe's is a, like when retailers and your like mall stores can't sell stuff,
Is
goes
it
to
overstock?
Gabe's. It's like overstock, and a lot of times it's
It gets mess ups too.
it gets mess ups, like, you know,
'Cause I've got
like
things with
broken
weird
zippers
seams.
and weird seams. But they also get home decor stuff, and I like shop Gabe's. So I have lots of like some dorky stuff. I mean, I love shit that says, you know,
Explore.
love the little things, explore, so the adventure begins. I have that junk. I love that
I am a
shit.
sucker for So the Adventure Begins.
Right?
Or something along
We're
adventure.
basic white bitches.
Probably.
But so I find that kind of stuff, and I try and find fun ways, and I also thrift and repurpose and, you know, repaint, and so I love to dork around and cover walls, because who wants white walls? Nobody.
Maybe one day you can show off your little nerd collection.
Oh, my nerd collection.
Yeah, she's also a nerd.
Yeah,
I can't say closet nerd. Maybe a couple years ago I could have said closet
maybe
nerd.
a couple years ago. But like, so right now we have several Shazam figurines, several
Shazam's
flashes,
the man for her.
several flashes, some Green Arrow, we have some fun stuff looking at us. But everything is in my awesome project bag that Devynn got me.
It came from Bedford Fall Fest in 2018, but I do not know the vendor.
It is, but look at those elephants and roses, and it's just so
Unfortunately.
cute.
It's super cute.
So that's. I don't know if we're starting that immediately, but we're thinking about it. We've got a
gonna
plan.
happen.
We've got a plan.
You've been wanting the Kraken for a while.
I
I
have
don't know
been.
if Sarah knows that.
If the amount of hints I dropped, she should know. But so that is my current whips.
Do you have any finishes? No finishes.
I don't have any finishes. The newt is technically a finish.
Yeah, that's a finish. That's
but
a finished section.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
So no, just all whips, no finishes. Hopefully the bee by next time. Hopefully I'll have the bee done, and I'll decide what I'm gonna do with that.
So now it's time for our chatty section, right?
Or do you want to do haul?
Oh, yes. I do have haul a little bit. I have some haul, and then I was supposed to stop at the post office on the way over here, and I forgot. So I have haul at the post office for next time. It's haul that I ordered on May 2nd, and today's June, 20th?
Yeah, today's June 20th.
And it's, I think it may have been there for a week, but it took forever to come. But
Well,
anyway.
I ordered a cross stitch kit from a place based in Lithuania, and I knew that was going to take a while. But I hadn't heard anything, and it stopped updating on the Russian Post.
Oh no.
Thing. So I emailed them, and I'm like, hey, just double checking. I'm completely fine waiting longer. I just don't see updates anymore. And they're like, yeah, flights have been grounded going from Russia to the EU. And I'm like, what? So they're like, please be patient. I'm like, you got it, but what? So
Yeah,
the world takes a long time to move right now.
I'm working on getting.
All right, well, you work on getting that. I'll talk about. So, a couple things that I've gotten is, one of the things I got was, I got my first grime guard. I needed a way to deal with the banner's long sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just got myself a grime guard, mostly so that I could look at it and deconstruct it so Sarah can make me some more. But I was specifically super in a Marylandy mood. We live in Maryland. It's a pretty great state comparatively. Not perfect, but pretty great. And I was just feeling the Maryland pride the other day, and so I was searching for Maryland cross stitch, which I'll show one as my haul. And then was like, oh, I also need a grime guard, and this was like number 2, and let me see if I can get it up there. It's crabs on newspaper, like you're gonna pick crabs.
That is
it's the most Maryland thing ever.
Yes.
The only thing that can make it more is if there are cans of Old Bay on it.
Right?
But
we're not even like close to the coast,
No.
But my family gets crabs all summer long, and we sit and pick.
It is the best.
It's delicious.
It's the best. We get a crab feast every year.
Yeah.
And I am a wuss, so I make my family pick crabs, and then I just eat the crab meat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good.
You're such a dork.
But it is the most... The other thing I found was I did find somebody's art, and I might have to like email and be like, okay, I don't want what like the handbag you're selling this art on.
Oh my god, the cat sneezed.
You woke up. And just see if I can get a PDF that they wouldn't mind me converting. And it's like, it's got Old Bay and Natty Bow, and it's like a Baltimore Oriole, the crab, the sunflower. It's got all the stuff that is
perfect for Maryland. Yeah.
And it even has the mountains.
So, that's
so I was
cool.
like, hey, it even has us. So
it's nice when people remember us
out
here in Western Maryland.
I actually have seen maps where they just cut off Western Maryland and just stick it into West Virginia.
Doesn't exist.
This is West Virginia for Maryland.
I've had people tell me like there's towns after Frederick.
Yeah, when you say Western Maryland, people think Frederick, and then you're like, no, farther west, and they're like, look at you like,
what's out there? Small towns.
Small towns.
We have a lake.
A really good lake. But you
I have I don't think I showed any haul last video.
No, I don't think
we
so.
didn't get to haul.
We ran long last video.
Yes.
Actually, this one does not seem short either.
It's not going to be much shorter. No, I don't think so. We might go the same amount. So I have beautiful yarn. So I'll let you hold that one. So this is from Avalon Springs Farm Yarn. There's their little logo. They are based in Pennsylvania. No, they're not based in Pennsylvania. They are Maryland. I don't know why I said Pennsylvania. I think I saw Pendragon and thought Pennsylvania. Don't know. Anyway, they are doing, or were doing when I ordered this, kits for Casapinka's shawl called Hugshot. Hugshot is supposed to raise support is a good way to describe it for your more local indie yarn dyers. So she just did one called the Breathe and Hope that was for local yarn stores.
Which you also
I also ordered that, and I'll show that one in a minute. So Casapinka is doing the Hugshot one to support the local yarn dyers, and I bought from the Avalon Spring Farms yarn, and this is the yarn that I knit my Wildflowers and Honey shawl out of, and it is so soft and squishy. I mean, you can just see that bounce. Like,
it's good. It's good stuff.
It is so nice.
It is so great that Casapinka's been doing all these like supportive.
She's doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
She's really doing some great stuff.
Businesses have been in such a shock lately.
This is the other one. And I mean, pink is just my color.
It is.
I am so...
But this is like, I love this. Like, goes from white to corals to dark magentas and purples. Like, that's just beautiful.
That's me. So I'm excited for those. And I want to show these. So the package from Avalon Springs Farm came with these really cute, they're little guys that go on the tips of your needles, of your knitting needles.
So like when you hold up your hats, the stuff doesn't fall off?
My stitches might not fall off the needle. So they're just like little foam, and I mean, it's a little berry. It's cute.
That is
It has a little hole for your needle tip.
So they just gave you some freebies.
Yeah, so this is just,
Needle corks.
Needle corks. The needles in, to keep things from slipping off, the needles in between stuff. Painted by our people kids. Proceeds benefit our goat kids. So that's cute.
That's so cute.
And then they also sent, which I guess this is, I mean, I've ordered from people who include like a little mini sampler skein. I guess that's what they're doing. I can't imagine that this is with the kit because it's different weight yarns. But they sent like not one, not two, but three. Four different.
Counting.
Holy, I can't count. I can't speak or count. Let's just be real here. So.
And they knew you, so they sent 2 hot pink ones.
Yes, the color's more accurate probably from like right here.
Yeah.
It's very hot pink. And I think this is the worsted weight equivalent of this Pendragon base. But I think Pendragon is their fingering name. I don't know other bases. I've only done their fingering weight yarn. So this is maybe more accurate from about here. Color wise, it's very bright. This is more red to me.
Yeah, like a magenta.
This is like a brick red. It is very pretty. Yeah. And this one's a little more woolly and fuzzy. And
I don't know what that color is. I don't know what this is,
but it is. And feel how soft that thing is.
That is just silky.
It's silkier than
and it's like a brown and coral. Like I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like a brown and coral twist.
I'll hold it up.
It is
closer.
It is.
It's got. I mean, the color's not accurate from this angle, but you can see that there's different shades in it. And it's very nice.
And that's like a color combination I would not think. And then you see it and you're like,
pink and brown.
Like
I
got it. I got it. But like that coral brown, like that is just really nice.
So this was all one package, and this was for the not the Breathe and Hope. Oh my gosh, the Hug Shot shawl kit that Avalon Springs Farms was doing, and I think this was called the Loving Luna kit. This colorway is called Loving, and this one's Luna the Llama. And all of their kits they named after animals on their farm. So
that's so cute.
Luna's their llama. And that is my most recent haul. I do have this one. I caked these up because I was ready to cast them on when I got them.
Go for it. Okay,
so Casapinka also did a kit for the collaboration for the Breathe and Hope shawl pattern that she just released. It was the original pattern she had designed for local yarn store day. This pattern was to encourage people to go to the local yarn store and buy yarn from them, and then you get the pattern for free when you buy the kit. And that's the same thing that was going on with the Hug Shot. I didn't explain that clearly at all, but I got the pattern for free with Hug Shot. So for Breathe and Hope, she did the same thing. And Breathe and Hope, I bought from my closest to me yarn store called Fiber Depot. And she used kits created by Ba Yarns. And
I love that green.
Yeah, and there's it's not brioche, but I haven't really looked at the pattern yet, to be honest, but you basically have like columns of this color, and then in between the columns is this color, so it's gonna like stripe a little bit in places. It's gonna look really cool.
That is really gorgeous.
The yarn is very soft, and this one is called Slice of Summer.
Yeah,
and it's perfect. I mean, maybe I don't know if back here. It's coming off a lot more yellowy than it is, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice green, yellow, blue mix.
Yes, it's got a little bit of this color and a lot of green and yellow in it, with flecks of like purple, pink, orange, blue, everything.
It looks like a 90s rave got turned into
yarn.
It's great.
It's beautiful. So that is a shawl that I will be working on eventually.
Woohoo. So the other thing, I might have to actually go get one. I think it's out in the craft cabinet. I got, I think I mentioned it earlier, several new needle minders from Lovely Stitches. And they're great. I mean, I like needle minders. I'm not a person that collects them, but I did a needle minder grab bag, and she gave me several minders. So this is one of them. All from different materials, different, so that one was, the little bird was a woodcut. The little bee from earlier was an enamel one. So different materials, different subject matters. I don't know about that one.
I'm not sure what this one is made out of, but I'll put my needle down. This is one that Lauren gave me. It's my little unicorn.
Yes, that's so cute. This is the little leaf that I got, and it is so pretty and sparkly.
I love it.
So I'm very happy with those. All of them are really nicely made. They're all beautiful, and I'm just super happy to have them and to give one to my friend who needed a pink unicorn. So, I mean, that's just perfect.
Yes, I needed it.
So, you said you have one more?
I found one more acquisition. And this will lead into another topic for me for next projects. What's coming next?
Okay, cool.
So this is a beautiful, probably one of the best navy blue hand-dyed yarn that I have ever seen, felt, touched, loved on. It is very nice.
Good touches.
This is an Aran weight yarn, and the dyer is dyed by Dells. It is called Harry's Suit. It's 208 yards. It is awesome yarn. I can't wait to work with it. It feels great. They do Dyed by Dells is a yarn store that is I think their website's like Les Garçons. I think it's, but if you just Google Dyed by Dells, I'm sure you'll find it. And like, if I hold this up, you should be able to see. Hopefully that's not backwards.
No, it should, no.
But
it looks backwards in the camera.
I don't know how life works with cameras and stuff. But anyway, if you just look up that name, you should be able to find this yarn, and it's great and wonderful. And I'm actually planning on, this will probably be one of my next projects. It might put some of my other current whips on hold, because I've had a plan to knit my cousin, who is in the Navy, a hat for a while. And I finally found some patterns I think that he will enjoy. There's one on Ravelry called the Classic World War II Watch Cap. And
that sounds cool.
It is cool. It's very simple. I think it's almost just like ribbed the whole way. Simple hat, but it has a lot of history because it is a hat that was knit over and over during different war times throughout history. And him being in the Navy, I think he'll appreciate that kind of like historic connection there. And I'm hoping when I do the package for him that I can include like notes about the pattern and where, this isn't just any old hat pattern,
Yeah, that would be
there's
really...
a little bit of a connection there. I think he'll enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely.
And he told me that he's allowed to wear black or navy blue, and I think this navy blue is going to pass. It is also
totally pass.
superwash merino wool, so I don't think he will struggle to care for it.
Throw it in the laundry and you're okay.
It should be okay, yeah. And if it does, I mean, he'll wear it and enjoy it, and then when it gets ruined, I'll probably just knit him another one. Like, I'm definitely one of those people who I have people in my family who are definitely knit worthy. Meaning I'm very willing to make them patterns. And Nick is my cousin who's in the Navy. He doesn't ask for much. We don't get to see him often. So if he wants me to knit like 5 hats and maybe he ruins them, I don't care. I will knit them for him because he's such a good guy, and he
Yeah,
totally
stuff-
deserves knitworthy knitted
I did
hats.
not think about, but it makes total sense the limitations that they would have on. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wear, anything crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wear anything colorful. I can't wear anything up. But I love that you were able to find one, a indie dyed yarn, so you can support them. But two, it is like a really great color.
Mm-mm.
Like, so he'll be able to wear it. It's great. That is super awesome.
Yeah, I think he'll have no problem wearing that. And then, so that's one I gotta do soon because my entire family's trying to do like a gift box for him.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So I'm trying to get my hat put in the box. If I miss their deadline, though, I'll just send him a separate package.
When my cousin Bud was in the Marines, we would send gift boxes to him, and he always requested chocolate chip cookies because my chocolate chip cookies are like a family staple. And they never made it. They were always crushed and like destroyed. So when he came home, I made him like this huge box of cookies because he never got them. But a hat will ship much better.
Yeah, I don't think
if I had been crocheting back in the day, he might have appreciated that.
And my cousin works in a warehouse, so she's gonna use her warehouse shipping.
Oh yeah,
to ship it out.
That'll be good. You might have a little more luck.
Yeah.
Than just kicking around the postal service. Okay, so the last little bit of haul I have is some patterns. So I'm gonna like try and put pictures up. So I grabbed. So one is when I was searching for Maryland patterns, I found this one. This is just called the Maryland Blackwork pattern. I was looking for something that didn't specifically focus on Baltimore, because that's, or Washington, D.C. for some reason. People think that's Maryland. And this is by the Sassy Stitch Boutique, and it was just cute. It's, just the shape of Maryland with the word and a little bit of blackwork in the middle, and I just really liked it. It was simple, so that is going to be an upcoming plan. I want to get that so I can put it on my wall. I also picked up this one from Hello from Liz Matthews. It's just I bought it for the donation. It is her Stick with Love pattern. It's a Martin Luther King quote, and she's donating all proceeds to various charities for what's going on right now. And I love the quote. Not a big fan of her choice of it's just text. And I am learning and going to learn more about typography. So I'm going to change the font. But I'm going to do the quote, but I'm going to change the font. But I wanted that donation to happen, so I bought the pattern anyway.
That's cool.
So that's my plan. And then I'm sure, I think Instagram fainted yesterday. Long Dog Samplers, which is a pretty famous cross-stitch designer, put out a free pattern from yesterday to the 26th, from the 19th to the 26th, and it is huge. It is it's called Pandemic. It's big. Not sure if it's something, I'm not usually a huge sampler fan, but this sucker is cool looking. And so I'm going to I grabbed it. We'll see if I do it. It just looked neat. And then the last one is Stone Street Stitchworks is doing another MLK sampler. And it says, the time is always right to do what is right. And that's just great. That's just the truth.
That says it all.
It is always the right time to do what is right. That's what it says. And so it's a freebie on her website right now. You can go, or no, it's not a freebie. It's you pay 50 cents on Etsy to just cover the Etsy costs, and then she's asking you to make a donation to a charity of your choice. And I did Color of Change, and just, what I would have paid for that pattern, if everybody donates a little bit, that's enough.
Right.
That really helps out. So I've got a couple of free donation patterns and stuff like that. So that'll be fun stuff to look forward to. Might get to them, might not. It didn't, break the bank. The Maryland one I'm definitely going to do. But that's kind of that's the haul for this week. Not much going on.
And those aren't here to show, right?
I'm going to try and put pictures. I'm going to try and put, and in the future, I'm going to try and have like a printout, especially the PDF patterns, just a printout of what they're, so that I can show you, but I couldn't get, I can't print in color, and I couldn't get somewhere to print in color, so I just was like, we'll put them up.
You can send it to me.
It's gonna happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah. My color printer does work, but stuff comes out a little muted, like color's not.
That's fine.
Like, I'll show you after this. I'll show you what it looks like, because I have a pattern printer.
Printing, it shouldn't be this hard.
Well, I'll tell you about my printer later. I'm just happy that I have one, because it may have taken a year and a half of situations with the boyfriend to get a printer to be functioning in the house. By the way, he works in IT. He solves everybody's problems but my own.
Yep, that sounds right. Okay. Well, that's the end of haul.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I already sort of talked about it. It was like what's coming up next for me, and I think you kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
I had one more I was going to talk about, so it's just more of what's coming up next.
You want to do it next time, or you want to do it now?
It's just one pattern. I can talk about it quick.
Oh.
So I have the yarn for the hat that I talked about, but then I also have kind of like a passion to try to use up my scrap yarn.
Yes, I know scrap yarn is your anxiety.
I am accumulating a stash because I get yarn for a pattern, I knit the pattern, and then like yarn balls are just not, there's some are way too big, and sometimes whatever, yardage just never seems to work out that you're buying exactly what you need for a pattern.
Or shawl uses like seven things, but you're not using a whole skein of all seven.
I have one ball of scrap that I have now used in 3 shawls, thinking I'll just use it in small sections because I don't know quite how much I have, and I still have some of that left. So
you're trying desperately.
I am trying. I have picked a pattern that I'm kind of excited about. If you're a knitter, you know who Stephen West is. If you don't know who he is, Google him. You'll find out real quick. He is an amazing knitwear designer.
Yes, he is. I tried to convince
she doesn't knit, and she knows who he is.
I tried to convince her to buy a book. We were at a festival, and he had a book out, and it was...
I don't remember which one it was.
I can't remember, but he had a mohawk, and he was like wrapped all the way to his nose in this bright pink shawl.
That's the shawl I'm gonna do.
And I was like, "You need this book," and she's like, "I like traditional knits," and I'm like, "No, look at this punk rock knit," and she's like, "No."
Yeah.
A year later.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna do this shawl, but it's probably gonna look pretty traditional. So I have a collection of light pink and a light green and a gold and a white and a gray, and all of those colors are in the right family to go together into one big project. And Stephen West is the king of big projects.
Yes.
His shawls are beautiful, and one of the other reasons I said no at the time is because they were so overwhelmingly large.
Yeah, and he's not the easiest knit.
Well, no, he is. That's the thing.
Oh,
a lot of his stuff is simple knitting.
It's just doing forever.
It's just 9 million stitches on your needles. At least that's what I've heard of some of the things people have done of his stuff. So anyway, I have picked out Exploration Station, and I don't have a picture of it, but hopefully I can send one to Lauren.
We'll try.
Should be somewhere.
There's so much pointing if we can't.
It'll be okay.
No, we'll figure it out.
We'll do
I will make it happen.
If not, the show notes will have links, so maybe it'll just be down below.
Yeah.
So anyway, Exploration Station is the shawl that kind of has like color block, I'm gonna call them swoops. I don't know what the technical term is, but there's just like, the shawl I think is almost crescent shaped, and then there's just like a swoop-de-doo here, and then there's a swoop-de-doo here, and so the outlines of all the swoops are going to be black, gray, sorry, they're going to be gray, and then the colors are going to be the green. I have some white.
Oh, okay, that does sound really cool.
Yeah, I have some white and some gold, and they're all like, think Easter. They're very pastel-y, early spring Eastery colors.
Yeah.
And in fact, the green is called succulent, so
Ah.
it is very light green. So anyway, I'm going to try to put all these together to make that shawl. That's a picture in my head that I need to make happen.
Yay! My picture in my head right now is of an octopus, so we're gonna be dealing with that. I don't know why. I'm just like, blankets, giant octopus tapestries. I just need big, giant projects.
Well,
that never
that's what
end.
Stephen West is gonna be, like,
Yeah.
just a giant project that's
Yeah.
probably gonna take me like months.
Yeah.
As someone once told me, you're gonna need a long winter for that.
Well, hopefully then that we'll have lots of things to update you guys on.
Right.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
That's everything.
That's everything?
Mm-hmm.
I think we did. I mean, I was expecting to have a shorter podcast.
We're about the same time. I
We're
think the other one was
chatty.
129.
Yeah, we're chatty.
We are.
So, yeah. Again, we are super happy to be part of this great community and like putting our feelers out into things, and we will try and do this every 2 weeks.
Next week's gonna be a little weird because it's 4th of July on the time that we would, so we're gonna have to do some scheduling.
We'll figure it out. But if you have any questions or any suggestions or any, things
Someone
that
you
you
want us to look
notice,
into?
yeah,
Like-
let us know. We're having a lot of fun, and if we're just shouting into the void, then we're shouting into the void together.
Right?
So, well, thank you very much for watching, and
Thank you.
stopping by. So we'll see you next time.